Want to speak real English from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at EnglishClass101.com.
Hi everybody, my name is Alicia. In this lesson, I'm going to talk about adjective order. This is something that native speakers don't really study, but it's something that we kind of know how to do naturally. So I'm going to introduce the order of adjectives for today, but if it's difficult for you to remember this order specifically, don't worry too much about it. A good way to practice this is just by reading and listening and understanding the typical order for adjectives. Also, a good thing to keep in mind about this lesson is that usually we don't have maybe more than 2 or 3 adjectives in one sentence. So in most cases, you don't need to use all of these adjective rules in one sentence. So just keep this in mind the next time you're maybe writing something or the next time you're reading something, that there is a specific order for adjectives. So with that said, let's get into today's lesson. All right, so yes, adjective order. So I've listed from 1 to 9 all these different categories for adjectives. So the closer the adjective is to this side of this scale, to number 1, the earlier it should come in the sentence. The adjectives down here should come last in the sentence, last before the noun that they follow. So let's look at each category first, and then we'll look at some examples for how to use these. Okay, first one is quantity. So quantity means like the number or the quantifier. So this is quite simple, like 2 or 3 or a lot of or a huge amount of, for example. So this is quite simple. So in other words, how much of the thing are you talking about, or how many as well. The second category for adjectives is values or opinions. So these are things that come from the speaker or the person writing. So these are our personal ideas or our personal values of the noun. So some examples of this: great or terrible, kind, friendly, gross. So these are all kind of opinion-based adjectives. These are our own ideas about the adjective. That's second. Third will be size, so adjectives of size. Some examples are big, little, huge, tiny, giant. So how big or how small the adjective is. The next category refers to age. So age, for example, adjectives of age could be old, young, ancient, for example. So these will come after size adjectives. The next one would be shape. So shape doesn't only mean like a square or a triangle, for example, or in the adjective form, triangular. We can also use these shape adjectives in terms of like people's bodies, for example, like fat or skinny. We can also use them to talk about like objects. So it's a round table, for example, or a square table as well. So these are some examples of shape adjectives. Color is pretty clear, I think. So color, for example, blue, green, red, or yellow. The color of the item you are describing is next. The next category is origin. So origin here means where did the noun come from? Where is it from? So for example, Chinese or West African or Thai, for example. The next category, material. So material can mean many different things. In other words, what is the noun made of? What is the noun made of? So we can talk about the material. And finally, number 9 is purpose. The purpose means what is the noun used to do, or why do you need this noun? So what is the purpose of the noun? So as I said, this is not a point. This is not a grammar point or a language point that native speakers study officially, at least to my knowledge. Native speakers don't study this in many schools, but it's something that we learn through practice. So let's take a look at some examples of how these can be applied to make sentences. Okay, first one, my brother. So my noun here is my brother. My brother is a smart, funny American guy. Here I have 3 adjectives in this sentence. My brother is smart, funny, American. So my first two adjectives here are smart and funny. So smart and funny, actually, they're both opinion adjectives, like here. These are value or opinion words, smart and funny, my ideas of my brother. So because these words come from the same category, I can use them in any order I choose. Here I've said my brother is a smart, funny American guy. I could say my brother is a funny, smart American guy. That's fine because these adjectives, smart and funny, come from the same category. In these cases, then, we can use a comma to separate the adjectives. So smart and funny or funny and smart. If you can mix the adjectives, meaning you can change the order of the adjectives, you can separate them with a comma. However, the third adjective I used here is American. So American is an adjective relating to his origin. Where is he from? He's from America, so I use American to refer to his origin. So I can't use a comma here because American as an origin adjective comes after an opinion adjective. So I just need to put the adjective just before the noun in this case. So this is my last adjective in the sentence. I'm not including any material points about what my brother is made of. I'm not including any sort of purpose information. My last adjective is here, so I don't need to use any comma. So my brother is a smart, funny American guy. 2 opinion adjectives and 1 origin adjective here. Okay, let's look at another example sentence. Here, my neighbor in this case. So my neighbor is a quiet, friendly old man. So again, we see this similar quiet, friendly old man 3 adjective pattern here. Quiet and friendly, again, are opinion words. So I can separate these with a comma, quiet and friendly. However, here I've used old. So old relates to age. So that still means, though, that this adjective needs to come after the opinion adjective. So my neighbor is a quiet, friendly old man is the correct order for these adjectives. Okay, let's change it up a little bit. Your coworker sounds like a thoughtful young woman. Again, I'm using an opinion adjective and an age adjective here. So thoughtful and young are my 2 adjectives. In this case, I'm using only 2 adjectives, and I can't change the order of adjectives. It sounds strange if I say, your coworker sounds like a young, thoughtful woman. It sounds strange because young should come after the opinion adjective. So I can't change the order of these 2 adjectives. They have to be thoughtful first, young second, so I can't use a comma in this case. All right, great. So that's a quick introduction to some very common sentence patterns using adjectives, multiple adjectives. Let's take a look then at phrasal adjectives. So phrasal adjectives are phrases that we use as adjectives. Let's look at some examples. So first, I love the smell of freshly baked bread. Freshly baked bread. Here, bread is my noun, and my phrasal adjective is this part, freshly baked. So what kind of bread do I like? Or rather, what kind of bread do I love the smell of? I love the smell of freshly baked bread. This is my phrasal adjective here. So I can combine 2 words to make a phrase that acts as an adjective here. So in this case, I'm only using 1 adjective, 1 phrasal adjective before the noun, so I don't need to worry so much about the order. But we can use adjectives in this way, phrases as adjectives. Okay, let's look at another one then. He loves Chicago-style pizza. So what kind of pizza? Chicago-style. So here is my phrasal adjective. So I could say he loves fresh Chicago-style pizza, or maybe freshly baked Chicago-style pizza, for example. Okay, let's continue to the next one. It's important to eat a vegetable-rich diet, a vegetable-rich diet. So be careful, diet doesn't necessarily mean a plan to lose weight, but it means your regular eating habits here. Here, my phrasal adjective is vegetable-rich, vegetable-rich. So that means a diet that is rich in vegetables. So rich doesn't mean a lot of money, it means a lot of vegetables, a lot of something. So a vegetable-rich diet. Here, again, only 1 adjective, but as a phrase, it's used together. These two words are used together. Okay, but another point that I want to talk about is using phrasal adjectives with time expressions, because this is a point that I've noticed many people struggle with. First, let's look at an example. First example, simple, a 2-month-old child. So here, we're describing the age of the child, but we're using months to do it. Even though 2 is used here, because I'm using this expression as a phrase, 2-month-old child, actually, we use the singular form of the time expression here. So in this case, we don't say 2-months-old child. We would not say that. Please use the singular form of the time expression. So I have this as a note here. Singular formations for time expressions, not the plural form. So a 2-month-old child. So this is referring to the age of the child. 2 months is the age of the child. I could say, my child is 2 months old. That's okay. But if I'm using this as a phrasal adjective before the noun, I need to say a 2-month-old child. No S at the end. Let's look at another example. Here I have 4-day business trip. Actually, there are 2 points to talk about here. So 4-day is my time expression. And then I have business here. This is the purpose in this case. So 4-day relates kind of like to age or to time, really. And then business is my purpose. So the purpose of my trip is a business trip. So business functions as an adjective in this case. A 4-day business trip in this case. And again, this day is in the singular form. So not 4 days business trip, but a 4-day business trip. Finally, a 12-hour marketing meeting. So here in this sentence, a 12-hour marketing meeting, we see the same thing as this 4-day business trip. We have this 12-hour phrasal adjective here, and then we have a purpose, the marketing meeting. So marketing is the purpose here. So 12-hour, this is a very long meeting. 12 hours refers to like age or time. And marketing is the purpose of the meeting. So why are we at the meeting? For marketing, in other words. So in each of these, we're using the singular form of the time expression. So please be careful to do that. Okay. That's everything that I want to introduce for this lesson. I know that this is a lot of information, but instead of trying to memorize this, I would recommend just try to be aware when you're reading and when you're listening that there is a natural pattern that native speakers follow. Also, generally, if there's not a communication problem, then it's probably okay. Like, don't worry too much about using the perfect adjective order every time. But if you want to know, if you want to practice, you can use these rules as a guideline. Another thing to keep in mind is that there are some exceptions. There are some expressions that we use out of order. And you will see those from time to time. But for most cases, for most situations, you can follow this rule if you like, and you should have no problem. If you have any questions or if you'd like to try to make a sentence, please feel free to do so in the comment section of this video. If you like the video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and check us out at EnglishClass101.com for some other good resources. Thanks very much for watching this lesson, and I will see you again soon. Bye!